Roll call, please. Katie?
Waterman,
Here.
Crowner,
Here.
Christie,
Here.
Heitmeyer,
Here.
Lees,
Here.
Need to perfect and approve the agenda.
So move.
Support. It's a motion with support. Any discussion? Roll call.
Crowner,
Aye.
Christie,
Aye.
Heitmeyer,
Aye.
Lees,
Aye.
Waterman,
Aye. Motion carried. Consent agenda.
Motion to approve is presented.
Support. It's a motion with support to approve consent agenda items 1 through 6, which are the minutes from the regular city council meeting on October 7th, 2020, payment to Collision Center, a payment to Dual Security, a payment to Jim Jolly Sales, a payment to the Iowa Department of Natural Resources, and approve the claims list as presented in the amount of $200,180.61. Any discussion?
I'd just like to thank Leslie for sending the claims list in a new format. It was a lot easier to track all the expenses. And I think last time I had 5 or 6 questions for Dan, and this time I didn't have any, so it's a lot better. Thanks.
I just had a question on that Amazon Prime membership I sent over. I know, Dan, you mentioned that we only had one account, but it still looks like we're paying $500 total, so I'm just confused about that.
It was actually more than $500, the business account, I think.
I think it's 500.
Is it 500? I think it.
Right around.
That's what our account fee for a business account, so we can do it. The reason it's higher is because we can do net 30 and so we don't have to put it on credit cards. So it's easier for Leslie and them to track, because otherwise if it's on a credit card, it's really hard to. So with the business account and it's net 30, it's a lot easier for the accounting to follow the expenses, because it comes up by vendor instead of all on a credit card.
Okay, any other questions?
Oh, and I too just want to thank Leslie for finding this new programming. I like it.
I do like it.
Lengthier, but
It is lengthy.
accurate.
A lot more information.
Yep.
Okay, roll call.
Christie,
Aye.
Heitmeyer,
Aye.
Lees,
Aye.
Waterman,
Aye.
Crowner,
Aye.
Motion carried. I did want to make a comment. I hope everybody read the 900-plus pages of this agenda. All right, staff reports. Dan?
I have a few things. I know I had a question about the sign ordinance, and I guess it wasn't clear on the work session what we all decided. So I know we decided that we were going to allow fin signs, but did we decide how many? I remember hearing one unless you run a corner, then you got 2. Is that what everyone kind of decided? I know that was brought up, but I don't know if we ever had a consensus on exactly what we were doing there.
I thought we did. Do we? I thought we did.
I don't know, I wasn't here, so I don't know what you guys talked about. And Brad cut me off when we went to the work session.
Oh.
I didn't get to see that, so.
I guess my understanding was that you were going to go back to another Iowa city that allowed fin signs and see if they were in the temporary or in the permanent, and bring us back language on that.
That was my next question on whether we decided whether they're temporary or permanent, because I think we talked about different places on the lot too, or maybe not just not in the right of way, so I wasn't clear on what all.
I think we said not in the right of way.
I think, well, for sure not in the right of way,
Right.
but it was also mentioned that maybe there would be some other setback instead of, on top of that, but I wasn't real clear on what we decided on that. And then I know Andy you were gonna bring something back about the flashing sign and decide what you wanted to do with that, so. I'm not sure where we left it. I don't know if we need to talk about it some more again, or, I mean, I can do some research and pull some stuff, but
Well, on the flashing sign, all I asked for was to clarify that one sentence, so it was clear that all flashing lights were not able to be had in the city, not just red and green, or red and blue, sorry. And then we had talked about a specific business, which would be a conversation, but it has nothing to do with that, clearing up that line of code.
Okay. Well, I'll bring something back on the agenda for discussion, probably not the actual ordinance to change it, but an actual discussion where we can vote on it, so we know where we're coming out of the discussion, or we know where everybody stands on it.
Okay.
And then, secondly, I just received my second speed and engineering study quote today. These are fairly reasonable because we're collecting the data, so it's cheaper, but I'll have that to you. We're actually collecting data on Agency Street right now. So at some point after maybe 3 weeks, we'll move that sign out on Mount Pleasant Street and collect 3 weeks of data out there. And if we send the accident and traffic data, then the engineer just has to put it together, and it's significantly less. The data collection was the biggest part of that expense. So, but I'll bring both of those quotes to the next meeting, and you can approve or not approve that once you get it, and that's all I have.
Well, can you move that sign that's on Broadway out to Mount Pleasant Street?
That
Does
one
that
doesn't
collect
any
data? But maybe that sign needs to be moved, because on the east side, you've just come from that stop sign on Long Meadow, so you really don't have enough speed by the time you get to that stop.
There's just limited places where we can put those signs because of the distance, and we'd have to go put a bunch of posts in, but, you know, we gotta work with what we have in the right way right now for our sign posts.
Or post on the other side of the street? No?
About the same, not as many, because on that side of the street is where all the no parking signs are, so that's why I posted it there.
Maybe you can take it down just a little bit further to the next no parking sign?
Okay.
Well, I know Catherine talked to me before the meeting, and somebody suggested putting it up on Van Wees, so if there's a place over there, we can move it over there too. I don't.
Well, that's all.
We can move it around,
By the high school, 400 west.
20 mile an hour zone through there, we have to have it reprogrammed.
Oh, someone just asked me if you could do it, so.
Dan,
I forgot that wasn't programmed for 25.
you just said you were leaving the sign out for 3 weeks. Why was I thinking the study was 3 days is what the engineering firm
No, I
told
was
me?
just going by the quote that Snyder gave me, that engineer was doing 3 weeks. We don't have to.
Oh, okay.
We don't have to. That's all I was going by, is that was how that engineer was gonna collect data, was over 3 weeks.
Okay. For some reason, I thought it was only 3 days each, but okay. You're fine.
Yeah, there wasn't any science behind that, except for I read what the engineer's quote said, and I
Yeah.
decided to use that number.
Okay, I thought I did the same thing. That's where I thought I got the 3 days, but maybe I misread it.
Okay, anything else for Dan? Mike?
You, I can't hear.
Pool looks nice.
Just was going to say they finished painting the pool Friday, so the slides are all painted and the play structure's all done. That's all thing I have.
They find any issues going through the stuff, did they, or
Any what?
any issues to fix going through
No.
all the stuff? or-
No, I was concerned on some of the pipes. They were looking rusty, but no, they blasted it all off and treated it and painted it, and it looks good.
Yeah, it looks nice.
Anybody have anything for Mike?
Mike, I just wanted to say, number one, on Houston, they're doing a great job on the sidewalks, getting those put together and doing it in this not so great weather. So that's good. That's continuing. And number two, I showed, I think 14 houses today all over the county. And I just wanted to say, is when we crossed into West Burlington, I showed a few West Burlington houses. The people immediately brought up how great the town looked. So thank you very much.
Okay.
Thank you, Mike.
Yes?
Starting October 1st, we're able to go do our tobacco buys that we do every year throughout the city. So we'll go around to the retailers and making sure that they're all doing what they're supposed to be doing. As of last year, they changed the law. It's legal for anybody under the age of 21 to purchase, so I can use anybody up to 21 this year instead of the 16, 17-year-olds that we used in the past. So I'm looking at find a little older person to use as a
I mean, they bumped it to 21.
21, yeah, to
Because
purchase.
it was 18. wasn't
Huh?
It was 18.
It was 18. Last year, legislation changed it to 21 years to purchase. Tyler's in step 2, doing great for FTO. And we finished off last year's Governor's Traffic Safety Grant, and we'll be starting a new one here in November for this coming fiscal year. So we'll be out doing more OWI enforcement projects like we did last year. That's all I have.
Anybody have anything for Jesse?
Jess, just one thing, on the camera sign up you talked about last time, I've had a couple people mention that. They've had trouble finding it on the website, so I wondered if we could get with Brad about the registration and see if we can make it a little easier to find.
Yep, I will talk to him tomorrow.
Thank you.
Yep.
Righty. Thanks, Jess.
Yep.
Oh, Andy, I just checked the thing, it is 3 days and not 3 weeks, so.
Okay, thank you.
Sean, got anything going on?
On the building side, I went out to Menards, the new storage building earlier this week, did welding inspections. You should start seeing some roof coming up pretty soon. Getting the roof decks, I believe their contract schedule has them putting concrete down and near the end of the month, first week or two of November. I just about said December, that's the way this year's going. Well, thanks, 2020. Going to start going around checking to see what did actually not get picked up with the fall cleanup and what Levine's didn't pick up, and get after those property owners as soon as I get a few things squared away. This week is, there's a bid letting due at the end of the week, so I'm busy with engineers and contractors getting them quotes on, or not quotes, but estimated permit prices for their projects so they can get their proper bidding in. On the fire side, Monday night, we went out to the training site, did some training with the new building, had burns on 2 floors. Guys did really great. It's starting to show that having that facility is improving their skills greatly. They're going to be going up, 5 of them, to Yarmouth next weekend, to some joint training being put on by Yarmouth Fire Department, being taught by Rogue Instruction. That is free for us. It's not going to cost a dime, so they'll go up there for 2 days and do some training, so get them a little bit more hands-on, expose them to a little more than just what we have, so it actually broadens your skills. And then Monday night after training, we found the pump on engine 2. We had a valve that's not working properly. I've already gotten a price on that. It's about $300 if it's just the butterfly valve. I'll take care of it. Not quite an expert on it, but I've done a few of them in the past, so.
Any questions for Sean? Hey, thanks. Katie, you got anything going on?
No.
Leslie? Uh-oh, she's got a mic.
I don't have Pablo up there. We're working with the auditors and targeting the next council meeting for accepting the audit report. Been working on the annual financial report, annual TIF report. Dan and I were talking, we were bonding attorney today about, we're gonna have to do amendments to the TIF plan for the Mount Pleasant Street and your Abbey rewrite projects. And we're gonna start that second meeting in November.
Questions? All right, thanks. Kathy, anything going on?
I just wanted to remind people about the Neighbor Helping Neighbors program. If anybody needs any help with their leaves or snow removal, or also anyone that would like to volunteer to help someone, please get a hold of either me or go to the website. There's a place there where you can sign up.
Andy, you got anything?
No, I'll talk about it later.
Royce?
Nope.
Reese?
No, I'm good.
Al?
Good.
Okay. Anyone wishing to address the council on matters that are not on the agenda tonight? We'll go to public hearing. We have 3 of them. We'll open the first one, which is council will hold a public hearing on plan specifications, form of contract, and estimated cost of construction for the Des Moines County landfill lift station project. And that involves installing a lift station at Des Moines County Regional Landfill and extending 12,000 feet of 4-inch plastic sanitary sewer force main along 137th Avenue, Washington Road, and West Mount Pleasant Street. The project includes installation of cleanouts, air release valves, side restoration, and other miscellaneous items required to complete the work. The estimated cost is $910,000. Katie, we receive any written comments?
No.
Anyone wishing to make a public comment from the public? Council wishing to make comment? I'll close that public hearing then. Second public hearing is on the proposed plan specification and form of contract and estimated cost of construction for the Mount Pleasant Street Water Tower Booster Station project. And that involves 500,000 gallon composite style water tower booster station, existing facility decommissioning, and approximately 620 square yards of paving, 4,470 linear feet of water main, 910 linear feet of storm sewer, and 590 linear feet of sanitary force main. And that project is in the amount of $4,760,000. Do we receive any public written comments on that, Katie?
No.
Anyone wishing to make a comment from the public? Council wishing to make comments? I will close that public hearing. Lindsay's here. If anybody has any questions on that, we can address them when we get to the, under new business. The third public hearing is, I will open that, it's on a proposed plan to dispose of real property located at 310 West Burlington Avenue to Southeast Iowa Housing, Inc. to facilitate development of a single-family home. The purpose of conveying ownership to Southeast Iowa Housing, Inc. is to satisfy the city's in-kind contribution required by the Iowa Economic Development Authority for a workforce housing tax credit grant that was awarded to Southeast Iowa Housing, Inc. to support the construction of one new single-family home in the city of West Burlington. Did we receive any
No.
written comment? Anyone wishing to make a comment from the public? Council comments? I'll close the public hearing. We'll go to new business. Item number 1 is to consider a resolution approving the plan specs, form contract, and estimated cost of construction for the Des Moines County landfill lift station. In your
Motion
pack-
approved.
Okay. Support. There's a motion with support. Any discussion? In your packet, you had all the plans and specs to look at if you had the chance to do that. Lindsay, you want any comments on that? Okay. Straightforward. I will make a comment. All of this will be reimbursed to the city from the landfill commission. Roll call.
Heitmeyer,
Aye.
Lees,
Aye.
Waterman,
Aye.
Crowner,
Aye.
Christie,
Aye.
Motion carried. Item number 2 is consider resolution approving the plan specification, form of contract, and estimated cost of construction for the Mount Pleasant Street Water Tower and booster station project.
Motion approved.
Support.
The motion with support. Any discussion? Again, Lindsay, got any comments? Roll call.
Lees,
Aye.
Waterman,
Aye.
Crowner,
Aye.
Christie,
Aye.
Hightmeyer,
Aye.
Motion carried. Item number 3 is to consider a resolution disposing of real property located at 310 West Burlington Avenue, more particularly described as Lot 55 and 62 and Roller subdivision by conveying ownership to Southeast Iowa Housing, Inc.
So move.
Support.
The motion with support. Any discussion?
I do have a question. In the part that says developer retains full support from the city to complete the project, I just wondered what that meant.
Well, I think we support the project.
Just moral support?
Well, we're not, we're deeding over the land.
Okay.
That takes care of to meet the tax credits.
I just wanted to be sure what retains full support
I
meant.
think we ought to support anything that's gonna be a new house or construction on an empty lot that's gonna bring in tax dollars eventually.
Well, I know that, but I was wondering if we had any more money involved or anything. That's what I wanted to know.
That's the extent of the financial contribution.
Okay, that's what I wanted to know.
Any other questions? Roll call.
Waterman,
Aye.
Crowner,
Aye.
Christie,
Aye.
Hightmeyer,
Aye.
Lees,
Aye.
Motion carried. Mike, thanks for being here, in case anybody had any questions.
And Ryan. Ryan's over there too. Thank you.
Oh, I didn't see you, Ryan. You're in hiding there. Item number 4 is consider second reading an ordinance creating new chapter in the city code titled Work Zones. As you can see, we're get to this thing. I hate this new program.
Is this what our attorney wrote up?
Yeah, the city attorney basically wrote the most stringent ordinance he could under Iowa code, he thought. So this is as far as we can go under home rule, and he suggested that we adopt this.
Motion approved.
Support.
Motion with support. Any discussion?
My only comment is I wish that first paragraph included, I wish that language was a little tighter on what was exactly considered a work zone and what wasn't. I wish there was some way to delineate that so that was a little more clear. Still very much in favor of this. I just wish it was a way, because the way this, traffic control amenities, well, exactly how, does any traffic control then tell someone that they should be able to get a fine for this? Does any speed sign? I just wish that was a little more clear that it has to be marked a certain way. I think this is fine, especially if the lawyer wrote it up. That's just my personal thought, is I wish that was a little more clear to the motorist where that fine started and stopped.
Well, I think it talks about being under repair or reconstruction, so I think we have to actually be out there working on it, I believe, before that would kick in. But that's the way it is in a lot of places.
I don't have a perfect answer for you. That was just reading through it. I think the rest sounds good. I would think somebody might have a decent argument against it the way it's worded, but hey, we pay the lawyer to do his job, so, okay.
Well, we got one more reading on this, Andy, so maybe Dan can get a hold of Pat and see if he can add another sentence in there,
I'll see what he can
because
do.
we can,
Or even if he's saying, you know, I pulled this from this city and it's been held up already in court this time, something like that.
Sure.
I don't, it's odd to me the way it reads, and I'm one that likes to argue things, so I think I could argue this about 10 different ways, but.
roll call.
Crowner,
Aye.
Christie,
Aye.
Hightmeyer,
Aye.
Lees,
Aye.
Waterman,
Aye.
Motion carried. Item number 5 is to consider resolution adding Mark Bell to the fire department.
Motion approved.
Support.
Motion with support. Any discussion? Roll call.
Christie,
Aye.
Hightmeyer,
Aye.
Lees,
Aye.
Waterman,
Aye.
Crowner,
Aye.
Motion carried.
Can I ask Sean, how many does that bring to our,
Put us at 23. However, Paul Barnett will be resigning here towards the end of the year, beginning of 2021, because he's actually going to move down to Arkansas and be closer to family. And then with Gunnar Hoffer taking a position with Wapello Police Department, he'll be eventually leaving us. And I just got news today, one of our other firefighters was given a conditional offer to St. Louis Fire Department. However, we currently have 3 others that Jesse's doing background checks on, so kind of a break even trend. But this will pick something out right around that 23 number.
Lose 3, gain 3. We voted, right?
yep,
That's what I thought. Item number 6 is considered an option for adding additional sidewalks to Houston Street resurfacing project. And from, see the memo that Dan sent out, there's about 7 different options, and which ones does everybody like the best? The option that isn't on there is what I would probably prefer, and that is to add this into next year's budget. I mean, I've heard from several over the last year that if it isn't budgeted, we shouldn't be doing it, so I think we can budget it, and either way, it doesn't matter to me if a contractor does it or if our public works people do it, but we ought to just think about budgeting for it.
Well, I asked Mike if our guys could do it, and he said yes, and Dan figured up the cost, and he said it'd be about $1,500 for the materials for each one, as opposed to $3,400 and $3,200 each.
That's the corner ramps, is that right? Okay.
With the ADA
Yeah.
compliance.
That's the price now.
Yeah.
We're running into the COVID and getting stuff, and if we put it next year's budget, I mean, that may increase some too.
And how about, Mike, there was some concern about, let's talk west side of Melville, matching the grade there, having the city do it on those driveways. That was a concern at one point in time. Do you think the city workers can do that?
That expense is gonna be, I don't remember what that cost was, but yeah, we'll have to review the driveways.
Okay, which on here would be 16,400. Do you think we're gonna be in that range, or?
Yeah, because that figures their labor too.
Okay. Okay. Well, I know I'm the one that brought this up, and it's because I want that west side of Melville completed, but I'm also the one that usually argues to budget things. So if we can get it done for about the same cost, if we're not saving a bunch of money by already having these people in here, then I'm perfectly okay with waiting. That was my only thought was, hey, we're already in here doing all these sidewalks. It's probably cheaper to have it done now, but if that's not true, then I'm for pushing it off.
Yeah.
What's everybody think?
Sounds like an item for next year's budget.
I'm all for budgeting it for next year.
Yeah.
I heard 3.
Well, we've gone this long without sidewalks. What's one more budget year?
Well, keep everybody from having to shovel snow this winter. One more year. Okay, we'll talk about it during budget season then. And speaking of that, I think we might start a little earlier. Is that right, Dan?
Yeah, we talked about doing something maybe early December. We can brainstorm out, and we'll have to figure out how much time to set aside and when we want to do it.
Okay. Item number 7 is to consider the purchase of a telephone system for City Hall, which Brad's got a memo written for you, all the good stuff.
Tom. All righty, this was something we had budgeted, I don't know how many years in a row, so Dan told me to stop putting it in the budget because we kept kicking it down the road because the phone system wasn't breaking. And so basically, I got this option to where they would pay, as you could see in the memo, I forget how much it was per phone, to purchase the equipment. And I figure we would move it into the cloud so we would have a consistent budget and we don't have to come up with $24,000 was the last quote we got to do our phone systems here at City Hall. I looked into doing several other options through the years. We tried free PBX. I tried 3 different open source vendors. 2 of the open source vendors stopped being open source and went closed source and ended up selling licensing. After that, the only one that's still open source is free PBX. But I think with the new COVID situation, it would be nice to be able to remotely hook those up anywhere and be able to use the phones anywhere when we're working remotely if we have to quarantine. So we can still perform city business and that stuff. And moving it to the cloud, then we also have, before we had to pay a maintenance fee every year on top of the Avaya system we got 3 different quotes for that system. We had Access Systems. I'm trying to think, who were the other 2? One was CDWG, and then I don't remember the third one. But yeah, it came out to the cheapest solution was the $25,000, and then we had to pay a service fee. This is all built into the per line. I think talking numbers with Angie, it came out to how much more were we going to pay per month? It was
$231.21.
$231.21. Yep. And so looking at that, to come up with that $24,000, you know, it'd take over 10 years to come up to that system price. So to me, it just made sense moving that to the cloud. If you look, I also put a backup solution in there, just in case our internet goes out. So we have a second internet option, because now with the public safety on Verizon, the public safety plan we went to, they now allow us to have unlimited at City Hall for the $39 a month. And so before they wanted to charge us per gigabyte. So, and you know, that could have added up for us real quick, which is why I never wanted to do that. We could also then reduce our lines down. Every person would have a dedicated phone number to their phone as well as their extension number. So we can call directly to that phone. You can give that number out, or we can give the extension out. And nobody should ever get a busy signal, because every phone has the ability to accept up to 4 calls at once. It has 4 channels. So what made us start looking into this is we wanted caller ID on the old phone system, and I went to purchase the board for it and found out we couldn't get parts for it, that it was end of life. And that's what started this, because as soon as we have stuff start breaking on this system, we can't replace it but with used parts. We have our programming phones, which is Katie's phone up front and Stacia's. The LCD screens are starting to go out on them. And then that's what made us start looking this year. Because we have to kind of, position it just correct to get it to work.
My screen's been out for years,
Yeah.
and I can't even tell.
Yep. Katie, you have to slap yours, right, sometimes? To get the screen to come back on. So, I mean,
The other problem we've been having recently is we are using Lisco for long distance provider, and right now we have no long distance. People can't call in.
Yeah.
Can't call out, and Lisco can't figure out what's wrong with it.
they say,
They've been trying to fix it for months now, and they haven't been able to fix it, so this will solve that problem as well.
yeah, it's been hit or miss for 2 years on people with long distance calling us, but at least we could call out anytime. But now nobody can call out or call in that is on long distance. And then that's the issue we're having. Last I checked with them, they're still trying to find the routing issue. And that's where we're at with Lisco on that. But that would do away with Lisco, and we would go completely digital. So we have what's called SIP trunks. It's digital. It comes over the internet now instead of through the fiber, which is why I've got that backup solution on there.
You lost me on IPVX and PVX or whatever.
I'm sorry.
Don't explain. I'll figure it out.
I had sent in some questions about the contract on this, and Dan, you had emailed me back that there is no agreement and we can cancel it any time. But I guess what I'm asking really is, obviously this monthly payment's got to be locked in there somewhere.
Yeah, the monthly payment's locked in through the state of Iowa under, I sent you an email, it's through the NSSO or something like that agreement that they do with Iowa. And so basically Iowa puts out a bid to all of them, and then they say, we're gonna give it to you at this price,
Okay, so
what
that
we'll
is
give
locked in, and how
Yes.
long is that locked in for?
He said basically, we would be grandfathered in if they decide to raise the price, is what he told me.
Okay, so forever, as long as we keep this system.
Yes, as long as we keep the system. Plus, we used to pay long-distance fees.
Right.
This will do away with that. No long-distance fees anymore.
So how much are I see it's also you're gonna be able to hook the fire station and the
Yeah.
street shop into this. What are we paying for those right now? Isn't that extra?
For all of them, it came out to 300 and...
Yeah, but does that include the fire station? And
Yeah, that includes it. We're gonna
That's
keep-
what I wanted to know.
We are going to keep the hard line going into the fire station, so we have a backup hard line, just in case something were to happen. But
There's two up there now, isn't there, or three?
uh,
There's 2 lines plus a fax line.
Yeah, there's 3 lines there now.
yeah, we're doing away with the fax up there now because they don't use it. So we're going to go ahead and drop that off as well. Same with the street department's fax. We were told they don't use that anymore because they used to get the one call, no digs. But I guess they do it through email now. Oh, well, we can keep that up. It's only $20 a month. But, yeah. So you want to keep that? Okay, she can't just email it to you?
You gotta print it off.
Yeah, not.
No, email it, and then you can print it out anywhere, or get it on your phone, or I could even install that printer, because we're dark fiber together, and she can just go file, print, and print it straight to that printer instead of faxing. And then that would do away with the monthly fee.
It is a little more challenging though, just simply because if I send it to the street shop, any one of those employees can get it. Or if I email it, it's individual.
Well, I can actually make it so you can just go file, print, and then print straight to that printer down at the street shop.
Oh, okay, that'd work.
So, because we're all interconnected, and so, yeah, I can connect it to any printer.
Brad, have you tried one of these phones?
I have not. If, before we do this, if you'd like, I can try it. I don't see why it wouldn't work, but we have professional installation free with it. I'm pretty familiar with working with the SIP protocols and stuff, and I know what I need to forward through, and you know, we definitely have a good enough internet for it, and we get HD voice, so I mean, it should sound crystal clear. And it is Verizon, so.
And you've went over features with staff and, you know.
Yes. The only feature that we would be losing but will be getting in the future is right now we can pick up the phone and page the whole building through the phone system.
Okay.
We would lose that, they said, for about 6 months. They're working on that feature right now, and it would be free when it comes to us. So.
Which might be used once every month, maybe.
Yeah, I'm the only one pretty much, I think, that uses it when I reset a server or something.
And Leslie, this money's still sitting out there somewhere, this $25,000 earmarked?
Well, we did this 5 years ago, so it's still.
Okay.
Your general fund.
Yeah, but we won't be spending near 25,000, so thank goodness, because I thought that was a huge number at the time when I got the quotes.
So the initial cost then, the way I get it, is $584 a month,
Yep,
and then it's 49, $498.95, a one-time fee, and then $2649.95 for the setup. 'Cause
yes.
They're giving us.
Yep. And then as you can see, I got you guys for in here, the conference phone. It has wireless mics so you can put them around, so whoever you're talking to can hear you. That's on the one for you guys in here. And you'll have a regular phone for back in there. Into your room.
Pleasure.
Motion to approve.
Support. Motion with support. Any further discussion? Roll call.
Lees,
Aye.
Waterman,
Aye.
Crowner,
Aye.
Christie,
Aye.
Hightmeyer,
Aye.
Motion carried. All right, Brad, you got one more here, don't you?
Yeah.
Item number 8 is to consider purchase of license plate camera for the yard waste sign, and that is for $2269.90. Now,
That
that doesn't include that $1,000, does it? or
No,
does
it does.
does
The
it?
camera
Okay.
comes to 12 something. It's on the CDW thing there. We've been having problems getting license plates through the cameras, and I talked to one of their experts at CDWG, and he says that, yeah, you have the resolution to do it, but you don't have the pixel density. And so I guess we need to get something with a higher pixel density that can get nice sharp numbers there to see it off of. Like I said, I don't know how much yard waste is being dumped there that's from out of town, so I really can't do an ROI figure for you guys on this. Right now we used to have it patrol back and forth between the two stalls to get our numbers, but it always seemed to work out that they would dump and get out before the camera would move back to get the license plate. And so Mike asked if I would put in another camera, and so I actually got an expert on the phone and talked to him about what I would need, so that way this time we would get something that would give us the license plate number guaranteed.
My major concern on this is it feels like with the building of the water tower that we just approved, that this is going away, at least until this council decides to build it somewhere else. Well, it's at least temporarily going to go away, right? Okay.
I think we
Which portion?
discussed that, we'd use part of that. Yeah.
Part of that, and then possibly there's street bins at the old water shop, which I think would be a problem, there's nobody around it, who knows what it'll get done.
Okay.
Time when this contract's bid, whoever really lets us know where their safety net is and how far, there's maybe only one wall left that might be moved.
Okay, so that's still an option then, keeping that out there. Okay.
Does this camera cover both?
It will
Ends?
cover, yeah, it's supposed to be able to cover both stalls. It's supposed to be able to read. It has zoom-in capabilities to go up to a football field away, so we know we've got that. And then the pixel density is enough that they said we should be able to get the license plates now.
Then what do you do, like, I sold my truck, so now I use my brother-in-law's truck every time I take stuff out there, and he's not a West Burlington resident. I go borrow his truck, bring it over, pick up my sticks and leaves and take them out there. So then you run his license plate and fine him? How's that
No,
work?
No. Camera will pick you up.
Contact them.
Yeah, you should be you there with him dumping it.
Yep.
And we should be able to see that you're clearly with them. When we run them, we'll see it's a Burlington, and then when he gets contacted, he should say, I'm with such and such, or I mowed for such and such, and then we should be able to. But I have a picture on my phone. I wasn't able to follow him because I had other stuff to do. He came over from Illinois, got off on Curran Street, and I had to get off on Roosevelt. And this was on a Sunday. I don't know where he was going, but it was full of, did you dump any pine last week? It was full of pine.
There should be a tree stand in the city for Mount Broadway.
So I'm wondering, okay, so we've got the camera installed and it's picking up the license plates and so forth. When do we check these? Or,
Usually when Mike notices a lot more abnormal brush than we usually get, we go through and check. And
so
make
it's
sure.
not like a continual thing. And I
No.
asked Jesse too, what's the process? What do we go through in order to do something about somebody that we actually do catch? And of course, it's a kind of a long process.
And then it's up to the judge on whether he even prosecutes it or whether he even makes judgment for us. So, I mean, there's no guarantee that this camera will earn its money back. So,
Just what? So the problem really is that it'll be picking up all this information, but until someone requests for someone else
Yeah,
to check it out, then
usually I
somebody
go
has
through
to
and
sit.
look.
It seems like it's going to be a time taker.
yeah,
A time-
that's wise, because they request to me, and then I go through and look, and then I pull off what plates I can, and then I usually give it to Jesse. He runs it, and we go from there. But like I said, right now it's a guess on what the plate is because their pixel density isn't there to give us nice sharp.
It's very much so a time taker right now, have to follow all the way.
Well, right now, anyone can take leaves and grass to the landfill free. Anybody
Yes.
can, and that's just another short drive down the road
Yeah,
for anybody. So really, it would be the brush that we'd be concerned about.
yeah.
But I don't know if it's worth all the hassle we go through to have people, first of all, have everyone put their brush out there, and then if we have to go through this, spending our time trying to track down people that are illegally doing it, I'm just wondering if it's even worth our time having it.
Yeah, I mean, when it first came out, we looked at the gate system, where we give all the citizens a card, but that was
Oh,
unreal
no.
expensive.
Well, I mean, whether it's even worth
Yeah.
having the brush removal to begin with.
Oh, gotcha.
And just discussing this, and maybe it hits the paper, a nice article, it might help to become a deterrent for some of them if they read it and say, oh, they're going to put up a camera that's going to catch me when I'm going out here. Maybe they'll start having less of that happening out there. I know I've sent 2 nasty letters to people that weren't West Burlington residents, but I don't know if it stopped them from coming back, because I just happened to be out there and I knew that they didn't live in West Burlington, so.
Like I said, I saw that 2500 HD pulling a full trailer of pine over the bridge on a Sunday when I was coming home from my camping spot, and he got off on Curran, and the landfill isn't open on Sundays, so.
Well, I think we still need to do something, and I know about progressive fines or violation of, and increase the amount, because that's there specifically for us.
Yes.
We pay our taxes to do that. We pay our public works to do it. And I would like to see a camera and, do we have such a thing for violations for out there?
Yeah, we tightened that up a little bit when that one got dismissed a few years ago. When the prosecutor and the defense attorney got together at the Y and decided that they were gonna use the 1955 definition of what a landscaper was, and they threw the case out after they subpoenaed me, and it made me sit down at the courthouse for half a day. And then they dismissed the case anyway, and the officer that was involved in that was very frustrated by that whole situation. But we've tightened it up some since then.
Maybe our attorney can look at that again and put
Like I
squeeze.
said, it depends on which judge you get. I mean, and how egregious it is. I'm guessing that, I don't know.
You charge them for trespassing, don't you, Jess?
We can do trespassing or possibility littering. That's what recycling center charges people that dump stuff out there illegally.
And they do it quite often. They got the camera system going day and night over there.
And I mean, this camera does have the capability, I just didn't ask for the pricing on it, for a different firmware that we can load on it that will actually email us a list of all the license plate numbers. But you know how expensive that probably is, which is why I didn't even ask, so.
Mike, a year ago, you had mentioned a program which may or may not exist that picks up, actually goes to the person's house and picks up bags, and I don't know if you said tree limbs back then or not. I was trying not to publicly announce it.
It's during the burn season on Mondays.
Okay.
Well, I need to have that information. I think the citizens need to have that information because I've had 3 calls just for the helping neighbors that need to have their leaves picked up because they don't have trucks.
It may
So
be
if
in
we
the
have a
newsletter.
service,
It may be in that newsletter.
pardon me?
I think I put it in that newsletter
Okay, every Monday?
during the burn season.
Oh, okay. I must have missed that.
We've done that for years.
My question was going to be, let's say this site out here didn't exist anymore, which I am in favor of. I think it's a great thing for our citizens of West Burlington, but I also don't want other people using it. But if that didn't exist, would it be less work to actually go around if a lot of citizens were taking advantage of the Monday pickups? Would that be a lot more work for you than picking them up out there? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
And that's usually all, that's how we pick up stupid. We don't pick up brush or if you cut down in 3 years.
Okay, so no tree limbs, those kind of things.
We pick up the yard waste, grass and weeds that we mow and all.
Okay.
Over the years, Andy, we've looked at vacuum systems and all kinds of things. To where, they just rake their leaves, not onto the street, but right onto the curb, and you go down, but that takes 2 people to run, and they just cost inhibitive. So what's your pleasure with this? I think the camera system should be put out there myself.
I make a motion to approve it.
Support.
Motion with support. Any further discussion?
I personally think we should probably have a broader discussion about what we're gonna do out there before we approve another expense on it. See where we're going with the middle of this change, before we go ahead and spend that amount of money.
Well, I think when we did that questionnaire, how many years ago, that was a positive comment on our survey that we sent out.
What was positive?
The having the drop-off site.
Yeah, it's very popular with the citizens, that's for sure.
Roll call.
Waterman,
Aye.
Crowner,
Nay.
Christie,
No.
Hightmeyer,
Aye.
Lees,
Aye.
Motion carried. Item number 9 is to consider a resolution,
Thanks, Brad.
Thank you, Brad.
get the resolution up here. Is to consider a resolution amending the resolution 2020-53 regarding the CARES Act. And that was, we were notified by the state that we needed to have this additional sentence in that resolution to be eligible to receive the $68,685.37.
Motion to approve?
Support.
The motion with support. Any discussion? Roll call.
Crowner,
Aye.
Christie,
Aye.
Hightmeyer,
Aye.
Lees,
Aye.
Waterman.
Aye.
Motion carried. Anybody have any old business? Anyone wishing to address the council on matters we did discuss or didn't discuss tonight? I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Support.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Meeting's adjourned. Thank you.